with Falcons, especially looking to top out that group. But you know, I think it should be pretty even across the board. Speaking of Falcons, by the way, I think they are the fan favorites coming into this one. 22.5% of people said they're going to win the international, followed by Spirit and Gaming Gladiators. Do you have a favorite yourself, Lockie?
I would agree. I would agree with you. How everyone is you're putting their votes. I will be a little bit biased towards Liquid. I'm hoping, you know, the results of the recent LAN, and maybe KP was you know, they've always had like an extra analyst. You know, they've had a coach and analyst. Now they have two. Maybe that's, you know, the thing they were missing. So I've, you know, expecting good results from them, but you know, I think with everything you're saying about the fan favorites, you know, those teams are doing incredibly well, I would expect. What about you? 5
seconds remaining.
Gaming Gladiators are probably my favorites. You know, they've just come off a Esports World Cup win, which was obviously enormous for them, although they did just get knocked out in, I believe, a Fisher tournament, just in the group stage, basically. So hopefully that's not a bad sign for them based on the 7.37 patch that we're currently on. Is it 3.7? 2.7? I don't know. One of the two. But yeah, I think it's their year. They just got to dodge Spirit. That's the big thing for them.
All right, so just got to dodge Spirit here for Gladiators, and we will get to see how they're able to perform as well with their first series. They're going to start off debut here on Stream B, and like we're saying, they're going to be going up against 1W team as well, a team who we unfortunately didn't see play at Birmingham, of course, where OG replaced them, had a really good run, and really for 1W, the only time we've seen them is at Elite League Season 2, where their first LAN, and they made a hell of a run through. I mean, the grand final 5-game affair versus Team Liquid, where Team Liquid were just able to win. That was an incredible result. That was a LAN with, yeah, sure, there were some other Tier 1 teams that weren't there, but there was still a lot of incredible teams, and you can't take away that would have been a lot of experience for them. So let's see. I'm excited to see how they're going to be able to perform. What do you think about this team, though? Do you feel like they might flop, so to say, potentially on the big stage, or do they actually have, you know, some rising stars that can really make a splash?
I mean, I think they've been the clear, like, number 2, maybe number 3 team within the Eastern European region for, like, pretty much ever since TI 12, right? Like, the previous iteration to 1W was Glimsanic, and that formed basically immediately after that, and they were beating Na'Vi, they were beating VP to be able to qualify for Dream League. Birmingham, of course, they got to Elite League as well, and like you said, they were able to get all the way to that grand final. And the important thing is, unlike Birmingham, the raid boss is defeated, visas all obtained, they are here, they are all 5 being able to play together, and we saw at Elite League what 5 of them together on LAN is able to do.
And let's see how they perform. So we do have our draft underway. We'll hopefully get into that one very shortly and see where the meta is at the moment as well, because there's a lot of talks of, you know, stuff going on, some very broken stuff, a lot of healing, some auras. You know, the carries are looking a little bit different. We're getting like a wind ranger carry. People are experimenting with Marana. Alchemist is back. You've got a whole lot of other things. I mean, you can. What are you looking for when we head into this?
I'm looking for Tinker to be banned a lot because I'm tired of seeing that hero. It's had its time in the sun. And specifically against Gaming Gladiators, I think you got to take away the Enchantress and the Chant from Celery. Those are the 2 things that I'm always looking for, just because they play so incredibly well around it. You always see like that 5-minute rotation towards the mid lane, get the mid tier 1 tower, get the power runes, enable Quinn, and just open up the map so heavily. So I think you've either got to understand that that's going to happen if you're letting it through, and specifically pick heroes that are able to stop that from happening, or you got to have some other plan in mind, right? Because it's just worked so well for them. I think it's like a 70% win rate whenever he picks up the Chan, and for a good reason.
So if we're speaking about playstyle then for 1W, what do we want to see them try and prioritize to? Okay, well, there you go. So they get the Chen. They get the Chen. The trade-off's going to be the Primal Beast and the Weave. I'll just mention that real quick, and then I'll go back to my question. What do you feel like 1W need to do to try and slow down the gameplay that we've seen from Gaming Gladiators with this roster pretty much from last year and still into this year when they've had success, where they, like you said, play around the ruins, play around Quinn? How do you try and address that if you're 1W?
I think the big thing is not necessarily addressing the death ball in some sense. It's like stopping it before it even gets to that death ball stage. I think Gaming Gladiators are the best team in the world if the games are lasting around 30 minutes or so, just because they've had so much time to understand how each other play, and it's just when all these item timings tend to hit. And I think the way to do that is just to focus on Ace. Ace is the one that you need to be looking to take care of, because he pretty much in all of their losses is the one with either the lowest kill participation or the most deaths by far. So if you could stop them getting into that pipe, Greaves, Crimson Guard, you know, all this sort of meta style, then suddenly the 5-man death ball isn't anywhere near as strong, and you know, you can look to try and take them out in that capacity. So if they put a little bit more emphasis onto Ace, I can still see 1W coming out on top. Obviously there are a lot of things that you need to be considering, right? That's where the Chen kind of comes into the equation. We've seen Celery solo rat down towers as his Ench or Chen. You've seen how much emphasis Gaming Gladiators put onto the power runes as well. So how are you going to be able to put all of these pieces together of the puzzle to be able to make it work? That's the real question.
Enchantress.
That's why they are such a difficult team to be able to go up against on Gaming Gladiators. You know, where they had such an incredible year last year. This year was a little bit rocky, but of course, like you said, getting that big victory at the Esports World Cup, and we'll see. It's going to be the Rubik here for Gaming Gladiators, the response with the Enchantress as well. So they kind of, you know, Celery gets his Chen, and then Enchantress going to be picked up for SPEC as well. And so far with the draft, I know we're kind of midway through. Is there one that your key takeaways at the moment, one you're favoring a little bit more than the other?
I would say I actually kind of like 1W's draft, just because you're going to be able to deal a decent amount of damage in the early game. You've got the Enchantress as a bit of a like Chen response. You can make some of those early rotations, you know, Weaver, and we actually don't know 100% if it's going to be a Weaver one or a Sven one, right? They're one of those teams that has that flex potential. Even a similar sort of thing with a Primal Beast. Could be mid, could be off lane, so there's a little bit more flex potential there for them in my opinion.
We feel like though their heroes from 1W are enough to be able to deal with, you know, the issues that you're saying Gaming Gladiators often, you know, give other teams with kind of the death ball group up, play around the power runes as well. Do we feel like in particular they have supports that are able to rotate early?
Sure. I mean, Enchantress, absolutely. Weaver, if it is indeed Weaver, you've got that mobility to quickly get there with Shikuchi, not put yourself in a harmful position. I don't think Sven really cares that much going up against the Sata, right? Like, you've got the Warcry, you're going to be able to at least have a little bit of protection if you're left on your own in the lane, if that is indeed what they're looking to do. Again, still could be a Weaver 1. But yeah, I think they've got a good amount of burst damage. I think they've got a good amount of stuns. If it is a Sven position 1 as well, you can eventually buy a Blink Dagger or an Aghanim Scepter to be able to get in onto the back line. So I don't hate this draft at all.
5 seconds remaining.
We'll see the starter could be opted at the 18th here for Gaming Gladiators, so it gives you another hero that is incredibly survivable if it is, you know, the Scepter route that he wants to go down. We've seen the DK be really tanky, but the Chen as well helping out with a lot of the auras.
Ooh. I think we've even seen Quinn a couple of times play a mid Slardar as well, right? Which, you know, going up against a Primal, not the worst. Anytime it's a melee v melee matchup, you're pretty happy to have that sort of thing, and you're always in the water as well, so you get a little bit of that regen boost.
Another thing too, Daracho has also been playing a lot of the Dragonite mid at the moment in pub, so I guess there is some flex potential here for gaming. This is definitely one thing. I think Daracho has played some more unconventional carries and definitely has a set style, so we'll see heading into the last phase where this one goes.
He's been playing a lot of Ricky as well. I've seen a lot of players actually play a lot of Ricky, and it hasn't really been working out too well for them. But you know, people are clearly just trying a few things. You mentioned the Wind Ranger. I don't personally see it. I don't like the Wind Ranger one, but results are results. It's working for a lot of people, despite the mini nerfs that keep coming out. You know, every letter patch.
10 seconds.
I think Naga's going to be the most banned this entire tournament. I'm just putting it out there right now. The hero is Naga.
What is it purely the support factor, or is there also the potential because it can be flexed?
Sure, there is that potential, but the Deluge is just way too good. Like 330 movement speed, high armor, good attack speed, a slow status resistance reducer. You can use it with your illusions as well. Your song heals. Reel in is not a meme if you're playing it as a support, which is, you know, insane. So I think it's just way too good.
Okay. Probably a big reason why we see it first phase ban, and you're expecting that to be the case for a lot of the tournament. So
I'm wonder if we'll see any Nature's Prophet come out. We're seeing a lot of that, specifically from Gaiman. They can play it in any role. So if they're able to, pick it up later on into this draft, you've got great tower taking potential then. You've got the ability to, and I think why it's going to be good for Gaiman specifically is that the change to the Wrath of Nature, right? It doesn't cap out at 16 targets anymore. It's just that the damage caps out at 16 targets. So if you've got a lot of vision around the map, you can just shove out all of the lanes with a Wrath of Nature and join into a team fight. And then 1W are going to have to make a decision. They're going to have to say, well, we either take this team fight and potentially lose it, and we lose all of our creeps under the side lane, the other two towers that are being pushed in by creeps, or we have to retreat and potentially we lose a tower anyway because they're just going for a death ball in our lane, and who knows, maybe even someone gets picked off. So I think the way that NP is right now perfectly fits with Gaming Gladiators' overall strategy that they've had for the past few years.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of other teams as well, just I should say players in particular, and their pub games experimenting with the Nature's Prophet, the Ironwood facet and trying to be a really big nuisance, and seeing a lot of like mid Nature's Prophet and, like you're saying, the flex potential. So that's another hero that I'm expecting to see a decent amount of so far. For 1W, we get the puck ban, so they do expect that this is going to be a Quinn hero loss, and that will be the case. The Quap's going to be picked up, and you ban the puck, which is a pretty good matchup versus the Quap. You will not have that as a response now for Chira Jr. Of course, like you were saying, there is potential for the Primal Beast to go mid if they want to, or put it off lane. How do you feel now, knowing the Queen of Pain matchup? They don't have a lot of time as well.
No, they don't have a lot of time. I mean, I don't necessarily hate, if it was going to be a DK1 Primal Beast into that, still feels okay. All of that armor really isn't going to do that much against Primal with Trample, so that feels generally all right. I'm just thinking, what mid laners could you look to have against the Quap? Bloodseeker doesn't really fit into this draft at all. It's a great Quap. Puck's already banned. Sure, why not? Just someone that's able to rotate around the map, that's able to respond to the Gaming Gladiators death ball.
I have a feeling that this was a hero that there was some stage, maybe it was a couple of weeks, nothing crazy, but we're actually getting Nature Prophet mid a while ago, and I have a feeling it was against this Queen of Pain, where you just have so much overwhelming right-click advantage with yourself and the treants, and you can always go back to base very easily, so you don't care about the dagger spam. So this will be interesting to see. Honestly, we were just speaking about the Nature's Prophet. I'm very excited we get to see it now picked up for 1W, and we'll see, at least what I've been seeing, it's been played a lot as the mid lane, so very excited to see the difference there in play style. But now that we have 5 heroes on either side, is there a slight preference, or do we believe this is a relatively even draft between the two?
I think it's pretty even draft. I like the Quap just because I feel like they were lacking in damage, especially early on, and that's what the Quap's going to be able to provide. But if it does get to that, level 20-ish mark, Chira Jr. is going to get Sprout leashing. And that is going to be very, very effective against the Queen of Pain, being able to have that additional source to be able to lock her down. So the fact that you don't necessarily have a reliable stun isn't going to be as much of a factor. So I personally, even though I think Gaming Gladiators could win the whole tournament, I like 1W's draft quite a lot. Okay.
How about before we get to that stage, though, with the leash on the Nature's Prophet, do we feel like Gaming Gladiators, again, we've spoken about a lot, this is a team that can run over a game very early on. Do we feel like they have the lineup to do that? And do we feel like 1W have the 5 men that they can actually combat the early game strength that we see so often with Gaming Gladiators to get to the late game where you feel like they might be a little bit stronger?
The thing that's concerning for me a little with Gaiman is that Ace is playing Sata, right? Which, he's a very, very skilled player, but Sata isn't necessarily one of those heroes that wants to be building Crimson, Pipe, Greaves. So where is that ongoing sustain going to be coming from? Obviously, Celery can go the mech from the Chen. He's going to have that plus the Hand of God, but there's a lot of other auras that you're kind of foregoing to be able to make this sort of thing happen. So I still think that they can look to put a little bit more emphasis onto Ace. Obviously, you've got a mid Nature's Prophet, so he's going to have a lot of levels as well to be able to make a bunch of those early rotations. And I mean, their lane isn't weak by any stretch of the imagination, right? It's a Sven Enchantress. That is not weak at all.
Let's see. First game here for the road to the international. Very exciting stuff. 1W, how are they going to be able to perform up against the Giants on Gaming Gladiators? See, nothing too surprising. Respect's going to be able to get out of the map. And
Good.
I was going to say maybe drop from Observer, but he's got double sentry, so No early stuff going on. Maybe a late smoke from gaming. Solid info. Big treat. Just scouts out 5 heroes.
It's scouting out 5 heroes. Respect was also making sure, sorry, not Respect. Chira Jr. was also making sure to just walk it barely underneath the tower range to scout out if there were any observer wards there. So nice little micro, didn't end up giving up anything. Quinn eventually is going to be able to pop down an observer ward on the 1W side of the map. So to me, the way this first, 10 minutes of the game is going to go is going to be dependent on A, how well does Chira Jr. go in lane, and can he get into his ultimate to be able to make a rotation onto Ace and kind of hinder him somewhat, as well as, if you are able to get into those earlier, into an early point in the Wrath of Nature, you can shove out lanes very effectively, and you can make a lot of these moves that Gaiman are trying to do a bit more obvious, right? Because if there's creeps hitting a tower and no one's addressing them, it's clear that they're going for some sort of smoke.
Eyes on Chira Jr. and how this Nature's Prophet is going to be able to go. He's already got the treads leveled up. Sorry, queued up. See how this Ironwood Treant is able to perform. What do we think of the Queen of Pain as well? Did get some slight buffs in regards to the passive. I don't even know. Masochist, I think. So how do we feel like this hero is currently in the meta? I've seen some other people try and experiment a little bit with pubs, feeling like it might be a little bit more viable.
I like the hero overall. Again, I feel like it did address a lot of what Gaiman were lacking in at the time, which was damage. And, if you were looking to try and throw back some damage going the other way when they are trying to go for this death ball, something like the Queen of Pain that has I think it's called the bondage ability, it's got a bit of a return damage coming through as well. So you can afford to play a little bit more aggressively, I think.
Playing, of course, with Sellers Shen. How do we feel about this as well? He's gone for the Sata convert. Is this... Do we feel like there's many that he could have chosen for? Or at the moment, Chen, is there only kind of a couple, or this one in particular that you can go for?
I like this one in particular just because it's going to make, spamming out your abilities a whole lot easier with that mana regeneration. Also, going up against Sweden Strong, you just want to be mana burning the Weaver, because if it's a support Weaver without mana, not really doing all that much. The change to making his level 2 incredibly busted, right? Having Geminate Attack and Swarm and Shikuchi was way too good previously. So now that you don't get all 3 at level 2, got no mana, feeling pretty happy.
Lastly, bottom lane, we see a bit of a brawl going between Respect and Tofu.
Come on, Sprite!
Would you say this is a little bit more favored for the Enchantress? No, it seems like sometimes Rubik can have a bit of a difficulty with trading versus especially supports that have some way to be able to get a summon.
Yeah, not even just the summon, right? But also just the heal that you get off the back of it as well, right? The reduced damage coming, of course, through the Fade Bolt isn't going to be quite as in general. Both teams are going to be pretty happy with just sitting back and farming. My eyes are really just on this mid lane. Like I said, Chira Jr. is going to be the key for how 1W are going to be able to potentially open up this.
Uproot and after them.
How does
go for a TP back to base pretty soon as well, because he's kind of low, and I don't know if Quinn actually wants to go for a Shadow Strike build, right? I know you mentioned that with being able to go back to base you kind of nullify that, but it doesn't really provide the damage that you need here. I think he's just going to be a whole lot more focused on spamming out these waves of the Scream of Pain and enabling himself to be able to make these rotations and be those damage dealers once the fight breaks.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
That's the little objective of the game. We do see the Lotus down bottom going towards Ace top. I think they just got it in time for Sweden Strong as well. Overall, very, very quiet start. Cloud is having a bit more of a difficult time, though, on the Primal Beast. Only 13 last hits at the moment. Big Wave's in a pretty good position for the Dino to be able to see us relatively well under the tower, but we do see he's struggling a little bit at the moment.
Yeah, Sweden Strong has done a pretty decent job of keeping the wave pushed back. Again, this is such a strong lane. I really don't see them killing anyone. Your 1W, right? DK, very, very tanky. Celery, the weight of numbers, and he's even getting a nice few rewards now. So now the lane is actually going to swing in Gaiman's favor.
Nature attendance.
What do we want to see out of Celery then? If we feel like Duracho is kind of untouchable at top, are we really expecting a rotation pretty shortly through the gate for the champ?
potentially through the gate, or it's about reaching that time where he might even be considering going mid, right? And when we speak about Celery, he's the one being dived.
Celery in some danger. They're going to have to damage some of the tower, but it will not matter. They'll probably get a return kill onto Cloud with the aggro getting chained away to Swedenstrom. It actually will be enough to keep Cloud alive, so very nicely done. They'll strike first in our game 1.
So, I mean, yes, it sucks that it's first blood. However, Quinn is just going to be rubbing his hands together, saying thank you very much. And get a bottle refill potentially for this mid lane, because, like you were saying, it's around that time. There we go. Clap. It's around that 5 minutes.
20 cents.
Radiant fortified their structures.
Attack well, Junior there. He ended up using the fortify just to make sure that his creep wave didn't get nuked down. Going to enable them to potentially go for a bit of a dive here. Shiro Jr., he's a little bit low on mana and health himself, so I'm not sure if he's going to go past the tower.
He's even giving tabs down bottom as well. There was a lot of damage put into Tofu, along with Ace at that moment, using the Warpine Raider to attempt to help dive the tower, put a bit of damage into the objective as well. In fact, a decent amount of damage on this flat. He's going to attempt jump under. Quinn finds a kill, doesn't even need the Sonic Wave as well. Now we'll be able to TP back to base, so a solo kill for Quinn's Queen of Pain.
Queen of Pain is always very dangerous to have to go up against. Although, I've got to say, when he comes back alive, really make a rotation towards this bottom side on the nature spot. 5 seconds away, Ace is very low. Moving towards the safety of his tier 2 tower. Quinn's there.
Tower is under attack.
Like he's ready to go for that just yet.
Dire's middle tower
Rotation, they weren't able to secure the invis rune as well. Quinn's actually going to get a bit of a freebie there. Not really giving up too much for that either with Gaming Gladiators, so very, very happy with that little exchange.
See what he can do with the invis if there's anything crazy. Still, of course, has Sonic Wave, and we do see Celery hang around the lane.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a play to be had as Cloud is also aggressively pulling this top wave. They were starting to ping him out. Don't know if there's going to be a potential for that, but we have seen so far, though, 1W, we're really trying to put a lot of pressure onto this bottom lane on Gaming Gladiators, again, using the Enchantress creeps to dive, so maybe there is that potential, like you're saying, because we still yet to see Chiro Jr. move to another lane with the teleport, so maybe he'll go bottom, but we'll have to keep our attention on what they want to do next.
You're going to be very mindful as well. Again, I'm just going to keep harping on about this Nature's Prophet, right? Like, might be using the Wrath of Nature, shoves in the lanes, and could potentially free up a time for him to TP in towards that Wisdom Rune. It's just coming up in 30 seconds or so, and someone's going to need to, deal with creeps hitting the towers, or, kills being achieved just ahead of them, because Tofu and Ace, they're a little squishy right now, although they do have the movement speed coming out to them very short. It's Tofu and treads.
Yeah.
If everything is okay. See Celery starting to move over. So overall, 1 kill apiece, and so the last hits looking pretty even between either side. We will see how they're going to respond on 1W. So because Quinn again is playing very aggressive, and this is enabling Celery to maybe de-ward inside Radiant's triangle, potentially get an Observer Ward down as well. They do need to respond to this because Tower's taking a lot of damage.
Yeah, and this is what Gaming Gladiators do, right? This is no surprise. He's even going to yoink away the Ironwood tree, but unfortunately dies to the tier tower.
Radiant's bottom tower is staggering. Like a drunk sailor.
Big response though from 1W. Respect's going to finally move over. The deep observers that they place though on gaming, they'll also scout out Swedenstrom, so a lot of reactions from Radiant. This does mean that, of course, Darachu is free farming. This is a top net worth Dragon Knight. You've got Ace as well, who's still bottom net worth out of the cause, but is getting some catch up. Quinn, it's a blink away.
Okay, well, Celery, he's the one that's being targeted right now by Swedenstrom. TP going to come in, and oh no, the Centaur Conqueror ended up turning against him there. Focus in onto the jungle, that's going to be the case, and they pick up a few, and they get a nice little D-ward off, so good little rotation coming through, and there are a few people grouped around that mid lane as well, right as that 8-minute mark is going to come out. Quinn be lucky enough with another power rune? No, respect. Yoinks it away.
Where's he going to jump to though? Sweden strong. Up to the north. We'll have to go to the right side. No one there is currently positioned, but Tofu though stuck inside the Sprout. Be able to cut his way out, but it will not be enough. Are you going to finish your food? It looks like they will be able to with the damage of the blood grenade. This tower as well should be okay with Celery being able to drag away the created tree. Nonetheless though, okay, they'll take it back.
It's a lot of damage, and this is the thing, right? You really needed to get off to a good start.
They got the damage? No, they don't. Now Quinn, he committed in the middle with the blink still cooldown. Oh no, Quinn. Thought he had the damage, but not to be, and just the assist into the facet there. The extra healing from the overprotective Wisp keeps Respect alive. Tower goes down, and now a 2,000 net worth lead for 1W.
I was actually going to comment on it a bit earlier, but Chira Jr. loved the raindrops purchase, right? Like, they're going up against Queen of Pain that has put 0 points in the Shadow Strike. It's all about that Scream of Pain. So much damage, right? Only, what, 225, I think, gold to be able to buy it. I kind of want to see it on a bunch of these different heroes on 1W's side. It just feels like an incredibly good item for this. Actually, might not be safe to buy them.
So 1500 health, they're going to have to go through. A lot of armor on the Dragon Knight as well.
Got that Helm of Iron Will, that might make it a bit much. And the Spark of Courage.
Everyone. 5 heroes. Jirachi. This is a difficult one to be able to escape, and well, he will not escape indeed. They need every single hero to be able to bring him down. This will leave all the other lanes alone. I mean, Ace is pushing in bottom. Quinn's going to be able to snipe Kushi's Courier, plus get a full creep wave, and might not. Okay, they will TP in some heroes to defend the tower.
The Sweden Strong, though, doesn't have a ton of mana to be able to play around with either. Really just trying to keep this tower up for as long as possible. He once again hoping for a rune up on the top side, and they're going to get it. Rune should be going his way. Radiant's protect a lot of their real estate. They've gotten a bunch of kills. They've taken 2 tier 1 towers. They're basically playing the game and Gladiator strategy right now on 1W. This is a team that has clearly done their homework. Shout out to Achilles, their coach.
That's it. This is going to be the advantage they need to bring them into an even mid game. As we do see that person that you were mentioning in particular in gaming is Ace, who was bottom of the net worth and has caught up relatively well. I mean, it's now Quinn that is falling a little bit behind, but after getting the tower for Ace, gets close towards the blink. Cloud will TP down before the tower dies, and with the assistance of the Nature's Prophet, there's not going to be enough to keep Slaughter alive. Or maybe he's stun along with the telekinesis. Ace actually able to slither away. Sweden Strong feels like he can continue the chase. He's going to run straight to Quinn on the high ground, and the burst is almost enough, but the time lapse will come out in time. So the Weaver's able to stay alive. Tower will still go down at the bottom side of the map. So their first objective here for Gaming Gladiators.
Very rare that you see Gaiman having to rotate that many people defensively, though, right? Normally it's them being the ones proactive a lot of the time, and it's going to enable, like, yeah, there's a bit of a net worth difference. It's pretty much on the supports right now, though, right? Look at Respect. He's looking to build into that Solar Crest really early. You've got a Weaver who's nearly building into Spirit Vessel at quite a good time, so it's going to be really effective against this heal sustain style that you're going to get with the Hand of God, with the mech coming up short-ish for Celery, and of course just the DK with the Worm's Wrath.
What do we want to see out of the DK? Again, we saw that one get fire. Okay, mid lane, Quinn blows up Sweden Strong. This time the damage is going to be an issue, but Quinn, oh boy, just, yeah, disjoints the Stormhammer.
There we go.
Gives him the tip back.
I mean, it was a 4 kill streak as well, so that's a nice little injection of gold coming through for Quinn, who, by the way, go on the Dagon. So, you know, if you are going to be the one jumping in, making sure that you're getting value out of the bondage innate ability, just having a little bit of that spell lifesteal coming through is going to be incredibly effective at prolonging your life with a lot of these things. You can even see from the Ironwood tree, right? It's just the stats that he wants at this point.
Back to the discussion with carries, we do see Darachi is able to clean up a stack over the triangle, and still there are no stacks that have been made for 1W. This was the thing earlier with Celery dropping the sentry down, preventing that. I don't think they have tried anyway. So
Dyer's
you
bottom
see this
tower
network lead
is
continuing to
under
go
attack.
slightly into the favor of Durachi. It will be the Sunj as his next item. And when do we want to see him kind of start to join some of the fights? Because we know the Sven, could be like a Blink next item for Munkushi to get involved. But what about the Dragon Knight? When do we feel like Durachi is going to want to start to show up to some of these early fights?
Location.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if on bottom side, he's going to be able to get away. Once he's got the Sarge, I wouldn't hate it, just because that's probably going to synergize fairly well with Celery getting the mech and Ace having the Blink Dagger, I believe, coming out to him right now. So got a bit of a timing here around that 14-minute mark to potentially make a play on Gaming Gladiators.
Do you have a preference on
Playing the Celery game right now. He's like looking to be the rat himself with his Enchantress. I wouldn't be surprised if he just looked at a lot of Celery replays and modeled his game after that.
Heal us.
Look at the targeting movement though, of course with the high ground as well, where they are well aware of how aggressive Respect is farming, but this is not an easy kill. With 4 points up in the Nature's attendance, they will have to work for an Radiant. They're smoking over, and they're going to be fast enough to protect him and maybe get a rebuttal kill. He's still alive, and where's the team? Finally, they'll come charging in the middle. His crowd has the damage for Tofu. It's going to push it back with a Sonic Wave. It's not enough though, as Celery still gets chased down, and Ace is now stuck inside the Sprout. The stun will fly out from Munkushi. There's just nothing they're going to be able to do. Ace still should die under the T2 tower. Not actually to be, as 1W will respect the potential of this starter and maybe anyone else to keep him alive. Nonetheless, so we do see how tanky this Enchantress can be.
Small mistake there from Chira Jr. as well. He was standing next to the Illusion Room
Dyer's
while he
middle
had
tower is
the
under attack.
Corrosive Haze on him, so could have yoinked that one away. Instead, Quinn's going to be able to get away with actually finally getting a power in for himself. Enables him to stay out on the map, feel a little bit more safe to be able to just go immediately back to the lane and farm.
I like what I'm seeing though, Dano. We got a very even game. I definitely would say even myself, I didn't have as high expectations for 1W, and I think you said, you feel like gaming the team that you feel like will come out on top here for the international, and we see at the moment 1W really bring the fight to them.
I did like the draft though. Come on, you got to give me some credit.
Yes, of course you did. Yes, sorry, apologies. You did say.
That's all right. Yeah, Respect. Like he's literally like it's like I'm watching Celery play right now. He's just putting himself out there, being this roaming ward, giving so much space to potentially play alongside Swedenstrong, right? I love supports that are able to, as soon as they're 6 or as soon as they hit their timings, are able to go for a kill just with the 2 of them, right? And it's not just the 2 of them, because at any point in time, Chira Jr. can look to join in. He's got the Maelstrom now, he's building into here as well, so a little bit more of that control that they're going to look to play around. I think they know that he's farming in this quote-unquote safe area though, because they made the jump.
It's a perfect read from them though. Chira Jr. going to be the second death of the game here for the Nature's Prophet. And they've got a creep wave that's, never mind, a little bit far away. It's a creep they've actually taken over, so won't be able to maybe convert that into some damage on the tower, but a really good move from them. They might be able to go mid though. This tower doesn't have a lot of health.
Dyer's middle tower is under
Reasons
pressure.
right now to be able to tank it up. I mean, I wouldn't hate Baraccio joining in, and like I was saying, once he's got the Sanj, once they've got the mech, once they've got the Blink Dagger, they really weren't scared at all about what 1W were going to be able to throw back the other way. So that's just a good understanding of how, not necessarily like playing the player versus playing the hero. When you've got a Nature's Prophet, you know that you can farm in this quote-unquote safe area because you can just TP anywhere. It wasn't safe. Damon knew exactly where he was.
It's time for Respect. It's not safe as well, so we'll get the kill. It'll take a while. Let's see. I don't know if there was any read of the Observer. Already got a Sentry, so okay. Nice D-Ward as well, so it's going to make it a little bit more difficult for Respect to play aggressively. So we've seen Gaming Gladiators been able to offset some of the momentum that was being built from Radiant. We'll see what they want
Radiant
to do next. Some of their
for enemy.
forces being drawn towards top. Ace has only got 1 point in the Corrosive Haze, so maybe this is still enough for them to threaten Roshan. I do see them sticking around. In fact, they're going to go down bottom once again.
After they're
trying to bring down
as well,
Radiant's
so
top tower.
really just thinking that maybe Chira Jr. is going to go back to the same well again, and they would be right. There was some pretty good micro on his tree in here to be able to scout that one out before it reaches him. So nicely done. Just those little plays, right? Not sending the tree in just straight to the neutral camp, using it as that extra scouting potential. He's dead if not for that.
Needs to continue to stay alive because at the moment close towards a Glypnip, it's still bottom net worth, and still it's very even between everyone, so teamfight victory, and they could pole vault themselves up towards the top. We are going to see a fight occur around top. Finally, Munkushi's feeling ready to go. They're running to Daracha, who maybe he's the primary target. 2,600 health. This is not an easy kill. Chiro Jr. over to the north. They'll jump in over towards Tofu. They want to deal with the Rubik and turn to Ace next with the blink up shortly. We'll be able to jump down to the low ground. It looks like the TP will be successful, but they should be able to. God Strength activated with Chiro Jr. here as well. It doesn't seem like there's going to be a response from Gaming Gladiators. So they were the team that wanted to fight into this objective, but it's going to be 1W that actually get the first agent of the game by the looks of it.
So close to being able to play more, right? Went for the spend stun onto the small camp just to try and get that splash stun onto the Daracha DK, but not quite able to claim it. But I think they're going to be very, very nice.
Can't they fight now? No God Strength. You might be able to force the issue. Someone's able to catch them though. Chiro Jr. is going to look for a TP out. That's a nice spot. Daracha won't scout him out. Got vision, however, I'm sweet and strong with the time that's already used. At least get the kill onto the Weaver, which is a consolation prize, and probably this tower as well.
Okay, yeah. One kill, one tower. Feels okay. It doesn't feel amazing. I actually wonder if Gaiman might consider just sticking around here, you know, farming a few ancient camps and prepping for that Tormentor. It's only coming up in about a minute or so. You know, it's going to take them so long to be able to get down to Chiro Jr. to try and go through here, so land their fire.
Try and target down Daracha. Cloud once again with the charge through. This time do they have the damage, but the Hand of God's going to come out. Celo is falling low. They have an address Quinn with the Queen of Pain untouched at the moment. Finally, the Pulverize is going to be there. Quinn's in some danger. Going to get the blink away with the high ground. Quinn tries to escape. This is giving Daracha now some moments to be able to right-click down some of the heroes. With Chiro Jr. gone, has Munkushi got the damage? Finally, God Strength is back online. They'll be able to close the distance onto Ace on the high ground, but the Slaughter only has Tofu nearby, but Tofu will snipe the Ages. Ace surviving for much longer than expected, but will still be killed off nonetheless inside the river. So a 2 for 2 if you include the Ages. Not too bad all things considering the Munkushi didn't have God Strength for pretty much that full duration of the fight.
I think the other thing as well is that you didn't finish your food with Celery. He got away on about 50 HP and he was able to cast Divine Favor 3 times in that fight. So providing 6 regen per second, 20 armor to a lot of these targets that you're trying to go on. When you consider it's, you know, a Nature's Prophet, pretty much exclusively right click. Weaver, not that strong right click right now, but a Sven absolutely, without the God Strength, is going to nullify a whole bunch of that damage. So the fact that they were able to get away with like a relatively even kill exchange there, I think it's not bad for them, but again, I feel like it's been a painful game that could have been so much better. A lot of almosts coming through for me.
Yeah, we're seeing inside this replay in particular how difficult with Chiro Jr., his role is inside the team fights. It's very hard for you to position yourself in the Nature's Prophet. You TP into the middle, all of a sudden you've got a Slaughter jumping on top of you, you've got the Queen of Pain burst damage, you have the DK up in your face as well, and we are seeing he have some, there's a couple deaths in a row now inside some of these team fights, so we'll see if he's going to be able to continue to have some success as the game goes on. What for him actually even in particular, how should he be taking this fight? Should he be TPing last on the outskirts? Do we want to continue to see him TP in so aggressively?
I think you can, just because you are building into a lot of stuff that's going to be able to protect him, right? Got the Solar Crescent on Respect, so that's going to provide a whole lot of additional safety.
Are scanning for enemies.
You're building into a Hurricane Pike.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Able to, he was caught inside of his own Sprout that time by Tofu, I think, previous engagements. Just to be able to get out of a few of these things yourself is going to be such a big deal for him. I think with the good there, with the Dragonlance provides a whole lot of
Okay, now they're all front-end towards top as well for 1W, so this should be a tier 2 tower that's going to go their way. Meanwhile, Gaming Gladiators have some heroes on the opposite side of the map who will get the Tormentor, but we'll see without their forces kind of nearby to protect it. I think this should go down after the
Dire's top tower is under attack.
What you would actually want here with the Rubik, so it's not an amazing game. Like the Agshard with the Warcry would be kind of nice for Tofu to be able to deal away now that he's got Dart himself, but he's going to be very, very happy just to take that Shikuchi for himself. I mean, casting Solo's China qualifiers. We saw Ponno in particular with his Rubik. Any chance that he got was able to do a massive amount of havoc.
Maybe they were going to try and force the issue with the double damage rune on Munkushi, but unfortunately there's probably not going to be a fight. At least an opportunity for them to take the fight, so they will actually smoke on 2. Playing behind Munkushi is going to try and shove the wave out. I wonder if Tofu... Yeah.
It's daytime, they would have. Celery and Ace clumped up together. Tofu really feels like he's just acting as a smoke breaker. Now using his Watcher vision as much as possible to be able to provide that extra safety. We'll be able to get away with just that, although Darachi...
Twin's not here.
And Darachi has hung around for a little bit too long. He's left on that smoke. Can't be too long yet, just about 5 or so seconds. So playing
Refu's going to run first.
Maybe
I'll make it to start. Cloud. No, it's not actually. Now Ace with the counter initiation in the middle. This is going to buy them enough time for Quinn to TP in.
Cherry's indeed.
And they have isolated Chiro Jr. as well. He is in. And they need to protect him. The rest of the team's going to try and run over, but Chiro Jr. still doesn't have the backup. Can you take the fight 4 on 5 now? But the big game is going to get activated from Darachi with the turn. Cloud in a lot of danger. Look at the damage start to rain in the crits along with the minus armor. This was just a massive fight. 1W. They tried to take it into the home of gaming Gladiators, but now they're going to lose a 4th as well. Ace snipes respect on the TP, and they lose no one. Maybe an opportunity where you catch Tofu at the start, get rid of the Rubik, the spellcaster, before Quinn's able to get there. That is not to be. An incredible fight for the boys on Dire.
You ever say that supports don't decide games, just watch that replay, right? Tofu in the perfect position, not only to be able to protect his carry, but also scouts out the smoke, gets away himself because he's already got the Shikuchi stolen. He was right in the right place in the mid lane as well, putting his life in danger to be able to just force a little bit of pressure away from that lane as well. He is an exceptional player, not just on the Rubik, but any sort of hero. And yeah, Chiro Jr. might have just gone in a little bit too deep there. They've got the Deep Observer Ward to be able to provide a little bit of extra safety to him, but it's not like this game and lineup where you've got, you know, the Greaves, the Hand of God, all this other stuff to be able to protect him. It's pretty much him on his own if he's in that deep.
I mean, he's still third in their worth, but we really see him have a difficulty to stay inside some of these team fights, and maybe the damage is going to be a little bit lacking now with the Crimson Guard picked up from Ace as well.
I certainly see that. Although you are going up against an Enchantress, right? So you can dispel off the Crimson Guard. That's always going to be a factor. Maybe Respect is just going to be holding that up until it's used, just to make sure that you always do have that turnaround potential.
Game in the slight number lead go their way, not up to 4,000, which is actually the largest lead so far. Maybe gives them an opportunity. Cards are yet to be activated, but the team late to actually move over, so there will be no fight had. And they're still sticking around bottom, and Kushi didn't want to join them. Either with Chiro Jr. as well, so a big opportunity. Mid pushed in, top pushed in. Maybe some objectives to be had. Darachi with that level 20 is really ready to go.
Radiant's top tower is on the
Look at his item build as well, right? He's gotten into the Daedalus. I was saying he needs to be a little bit more farm-oriented, not play the Darachi way, just putting himself in harm's way a lot of the time. And he's sat back. He's got, like you said, that level 20. He's gone the extra attack range as well, so he's a big sieger. And I just want to point out as well a few of the itemization choices as well for neutral items. EK going the Light Collector, so he's not going to get isolated inside of a Sprout from Chiro Jr. You've even got an Iron Talon still on Ace right now, so he's always going to be able to just chop that away. He's not only with the Iron Talon, but his Quantum Blade as well.
Is under attack.
It's a very interesting move. Yeah. Difficult to read. You've got Darachi off than you would expect. Probably the team's playing behind him when he's sieging this aggressively onto the tower. Everyone else is going to sweep to the right side of the map. Unfortunately, they will not be successful with this. Everyone, it's 3 heroes back inside the base.
That's the main objective, right? Like, you got the tower. That's what you were looking to accomplish there. And you know, no one again dealing with that bottom lane. Pushing in makes the rotation a little bit obvious, but I think 1W are very conscious of the fact that, okay, well, we haven't taken a few fights on our terms. We really need to try and set up around this Roshan right now, because that is the next key objective. It's up in 2 seconds. Quinn Just missing out on that scout out there.
Trina's scouting Celery. I don't know if there's going to be much they can do with it. But the rest of the team's starting to rush, and it's falling fast. They need to go soon.
Slow.
What's the call? Can he enter the middle of the fight? They're going to try to go to the middle. This time, once it up to Celery, they've got the damage they do. They're going to commit everything to bring him down. They'll deal with the secondary support as well, but now the call, they've gone uncontested, but Quinn stuck inside the Sprout. He'll go down, but Daracho, this Dragon Knight with the buff up of the Corrosive Haze, they'll be able to turn over Chira Jr. The Nature's Prophets had a difficult time inside the team fights, and this one is no different. This gaming Gladiators, they stuck around the Dragon Knight, and they should be rewarded as well. Another kill over to the East, Ace and Tofu combination together. We saw 1W this time, you were able to deal with the supports and stuff, but it just didn't matter. The cores in particular, Daracho, are too far ahead.
I think they're just second guessing themselves too much. A bunch of these rotations have just been a little bit too slow for mine, and gaming Gladiators, their minds click instantly. They say, okay, this is what's happening. Let's make a decision and let's make it right now. What sets the good teams apart from the great ones? I think Amar is another one of those players that just instantly commits to an idea. And for them, that previous rotation towards the enemy triangle, the rotation there to try and contest Roshan, if it was even like 3 seconds sooner, maybe they don't continue in there to commit to Rosh. Maybe you have an outnumber for a little bit longer time, but just because of that slight delay, it means that not only do you lose the Aegis, not only do you lose the Roshan's banner, but you also have, I think it was a 3-for-2 trade going against you.
Dude, his momentum really starting to build for GG. Back-to-back fight, Karacho starting to get untouchable. Satanic queued up for him next. See how they're gonna... This is one thing about these players and teams that do not have a lot of experience. How are you going to be able to slow the game down and find a fight that might work in your favor? This is the fight.
Very clever by Celery as well, though. He was farming the camp inside of the 1W triangle and made sure to keep that Sata Banisher there. He wants to be able to get rid of that Crimson Guard if Cloud ends up popping it to try and survive himself.
Is under attack.
It's just gone.
Radiant structures are fortified.
River Quinn? Quinn's in a lot of danger, man. Look at this. All right.
Again, this is prior to the level 20 talent on the Nature's Prophet, so that is a big pick-off to be able to not only delay out that Aegis, but to a lot more net worth and, more importantly, experience going away at the NP there. We're not going to follow it, but they know where GG hunkering down right now because of that career. They're actually just going to walk up onto the high ground. Is this the right choice?
Ace isn't bad. He's going to be able to get the big below there. And like you said, it's the right choice now, because look at Daracho's position on the high ground, giving them all the information when Kushi assassinates Tofu. They want to just completely avoid Daracho. And that will result in a successful team fight for them. And now with the Pulverize being used, Daracho should be able to TP out in the cover of the BKB.
Quinn is such a big amount of their damage, dude. They gotta make sure that they're there for a lot of these games. It's not even going to waste the ultimate as well, just instantly nuking down that Tormentor. Not the greatest one to be able to give over. The rock throw doesn't feel amazing for Cloud, considering his role in this game to really be that durable bruiser, I guess you could say. But with those kills, he's finished up the BKB for himself. He's Pulverize rank 3 nearly ready, so it's a lot of extra damage that we're going to have coming out very, very soon.
In regards to the itemization on Kushi, actually saw that, Chira Jr. Ooh, okay, far out. Very nicely done. Do we like the AC from Kushi, or do we feel like you prefer a little bit more damage out of this one?
Well, Chira Jr. actually had it queued up for the longest time, and I think he's just switched into the BKB very recently. I'm sure that's probably a discussion that they're having live right now. Like, is this something that we need to give to him? Is this something that Kushi needs? Because he's not really short on durability himself, right? As the spec. You can pop the Warcry, you can be A-OK. But Nature's Prophet, I'm feeling a little bit more anxious about this sort of thing, right? It's not the old NP where the teleport gave you a bunch of damage and then converted into armor. It's just a flat 250 barrier, which is nothing at this point. Seems like they're really willing to just commit to him as the full-on glass cannon. I guess with the Vindicator's axe, he can feel a little bit better about things. You know, that plus 20 armor if he's stunned, and there's not a few stuns on GG.
Stuns are starting to move towards bottom. Sweden
Radiant's
strong.
bottom tower faces a
A bit of a
stiff
pest trying to
wind.
shove up the wave. There is a creep that has made it towards the T2 tower. Duracho should make quick work of this objective. Still have ages.
Radiant's bottom tower
Another 10
is under
seconds,
attack.
which will result in that last outer
Radiant's
tower going
bottom
their way.
tower has rung its last
Pretty well
bell.
with Sweden strong. 9, 4, and 6. He 17. He's built into an ATOS for himself. I think he's gone for the Lotus Orb because they are very single target focused, particularly with those stuns that we were talking about.
I take that.
To defend that T1 tower a little bit. Said Aegis reclaimed, so do you feel that they've got enough out of this? What's Duracho got coming out to him now? He's I think finished already? Oh damn. Man is
I think so,
farm.
yeah. Yeah, his boy is huge. 24. Looks like he's going to buy the recipe for the Aghanim Scepter as well to free up an item slot. Do you see, like, here's the thing though. He has pretty much all the network advantage here for gaming gladiators. So if he's unable to right click inside some of the team fight, I don't think the game plan ever is to go for Duracho, right? Because we've kind of seen the success has been deal with the support. So we'll see. How do the fights need to look differently as well for GG? Because what the last one in particular was they just sniped Quinn, and then without the damage from Quinn, you were saying the fight just looked a bit different.
Yeah, I think you got to just dangle the right sort of heroes on the front lines, right? And it's really just going to depend what... I'm looking at Tofu nearly dying to the Tormentor. It's really just going to depend on what tools you have. Like, if Tofu has the Shikuchi, it can be him, you know? He's got the Dandelion Amulet. He's got the Solar Crest for him. You know, got a Chen to be able to help him out a little bit. You don't want the Chen to be jumped on first. You probably just can put the DK out there, right? And force them to commit onto you. You've already taken all tier 2 towers, so maybe it's even just going to be a game of waiting for the next Roshan, getting a free pressure, tags, whatever it is. Like, it's just going to advantage GG so much more to enable that high ground push and just playing around Duracho. Basically force them to respond to him rather than avoid him entirely.
Which is something we have seen so far. They haven't really done. I mean, that top tier 3 tower went down up top very easily. Ace scout out Sweden strong, but trying to able to get the time lapse away. He's fine. But we did see, of course, some of the other towers and even mid when he was starting to beat into it. 1W didn't really want to do anything versus Duracho, so they do get that Aegis and they do get that opportunity to group up. Could be some trouble. It does look like we're going to start to see GG start to play together.
They're just trying to buff up Duracho as much as possible now, right? Like you said, basically all of the net worth is on him, but who cares? You know, like he hasn't got the Dragon Tail just because L1W
Tried to try and kill the wave, and now he's in a lot of trouble. BKB, is it going to be enough? Oh, he ran into the trees, Cloud! What? He could have kept running. He's going to try and TP out. Will he escape? Do they see him, Cloud? He makes it out. Now respect. I don't think he's going to be able to make it out. Looks for the sprint down to the lower ground, but Duracho can hunt him.
one.
This is a kill right in front of the tower. They can lead this into objectives. That is a big mistake from 1W, and GG are a team that you give them this opportunity, they will punish you.
That Cliff is going to be able to deal with the siege creep wave right now. Getting Jong just sending out a few of those beetles as well, but it's not going to hold them back again. Duracho, he's got the extra regen, he's got a Solar Crest for himself.
Is under attack.
Rally around him, why not?
Radiant's
Trying to fight.
barracks have fallen.
Quinstrong is looking for the supports in the backline. Then Cloud and Makushi smoking all the way around. Look at the vision Swedish Jones provide them. Quinn tries to drop the blink in. Makushi targeting down with the Queen of Pain, stuck inside this crowd with the leash. Makushi finally able to get the right clicks out. Is it enough? Quinn falling more with the blink. It's not going to be there in time. Eyes on Duracho. What he's going to be able to do with the stun lock. It is perfect, or is it Sweden strong? Time lapse out of the last second. Tiro Jr. also looking for the TP aces. He got the stun.
Is about to
Millisecond short. He's going to be able to escape as well, but they may just go back to the high ground here on GG.
You've used a lot of your tools right now. You don't have the time lapse for 20 seconds. Most importantly, though, you don't have to spend. What is stopping them from just getting into a lot of these towers? Tiro Jr. putting himself out there just because there is no one else right now. And very rarely say Duracho is hard carrying this game, but
I can't tell
man,
you. Now, in the middle of the team fight, Tiro Jr. being able to right click freely. Ace might not be able to do with the Sata. Cloud might be able to stay alive. He's able to force up close to the base. No, they get the crits. Cloud at least is a buyback. Sweden strong time lapse in, but Sentry already laid down and a quick response from Tofu's telekinesis.
Radiant's bottom barracks have fallen.
I don't think you could ask for a better start to a tournament than this for GG, right? Like, they have just done amazingly well. Even just with the Barracuda, he doesn't care about this round. He's just happy to move on forward. Look how tanky!
Oh my god.
It's going to be Mega Creeps. Walk it down. It might have taken, 10, 15 minutes longer than the usual GG sort of play, but eventually it would not be denied.
The Dire now have Mega
Flies out.
Creeps.
Nice leash, bro. Keep it into the lane, but everyone else retreated over to the outpost. Everything down. It's a pretty decent start onto 2. But Quat held into place as well. Quinn in some danger, but they're lacking the damage. And we've seen that be the case onto Daracha. Daracha does not care. Stands his ground. They just don't have the answers towards the Dragon Knight. He's going to go uncontested. It's only one death for him. They'll be able to deal with Tofu, but it just doesn't matter in the end. This goddamn Dragon Knight. Daracha has made it look flawless so far. Might be able to get Respect. Aces there in the nick of time. Respect will go down as well.
A minute without 2 of your cores. Mega Creeps already down. Daracha beyond godlike. 12, 1 and 4. It's been an amazing game for him so far. And
I'll do better this time.
I don't even want to say it was a lack of respect. Again, it was just that the lack of a killer instinct, I guess you could say, from 1W, right? There's most of their first TIs just want to be able to do the safe thing, but at times the safe thing isn't going to get you.
The editing.
They just want to, feels like have a bit of a party here. Daracha is doing himself a little bit. He doesn't want to hit towers. He wants to kill people. He feels like
Look at Ace. Okay, he was hit at the tip by Tower. I wanted to jump in, enjoy the fun, but the G's going to be dropped as well. So, yeah, GG going to be able to take game 1. They had to roll from me in 39 minutes, and it's a relatively early victory, all things considering, but this game was very, very close, and 1W. Are there any takeaways from them? I don't know if I should even lead with this, because you're always your props to Gaming Gladiators and what they're able to do to get the victory, but